We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 435. I am your man behind the microphone and your new Scholars of Wrestling world champion. I am Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is Scholar Tark. Scholar Tark, what's it feel like to bask in the presence of greatness once again?
Well, fool, let me put it this way. I feel like your own introduction was just very weak. When you're holding Goldie on your shoulders, you gotta hold your head up high and just be like, the new Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Champion of the World, Scholar Jeff. Congratulations on your title win, Scholar Jeff. I tip my not actual hat to you. Congratulations on your title win. It is very great to see the cash-in card actually work.
I gotta say that came in clutch, but I'll tell you what, I had a gut. I followed my heart. I followed my gut, and the dividends paid off big.
You followed your insides.
I followed my insides indeed. I thank you very much for the salute, but hey, my intro may not have been quite to your liking, but what can I say? Some of us are just that humble. I like to stay humble. I'm a humble man, damn it.
Says the guy who just did my intro. So how does it feel to bask in the glory? Yeah, that's very
like I
humble.
said, I'm a humble man. I am not a perfect man. I am a humble man.
Hey man, I couldn't be any more happy that you won the championship and on your birthday week. I'm very happy about that.
Hey,
that is a
no
very, very
time
good
than
birthday
that,
present.
baby. Indeed, indeed. But speaking of humble men, also joining us this week, another undisputed scholar in his own right, but lacking some jewelry, lacking some polish over there. He is, of course, Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how's it feel to be a little about 10 pounds lighter?
You know, sometimes you just need to get some of that weight off your shoulders for a little
You're
bit.
looking good. You're looking
I've
trim.
I've been holding on to that thing for so long that I need a little break. So the stars aligned
Yeah,
in such a way.
I'm
The
doing
stars
some. I gotta do some curls. I gotta
the,
bench this. Ooh,
the
feel the
stars
burn, baby.
aligned in such a way that I can allow you to hold on to that for me for a couple weeks. I mean, you just had a birthday, so it seems like a good time to let you have some shine with that thing before I take it back from you in a few weeks. So
Uh,
it's all good. It's all gravy. Have fun.
few weeks. Yeah, it hit. Yeah, I just realized, really, just today, that's if we gotta adhere by the 3-show rule to defend the Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. I realized, like we all did right before we started going on this show, that yeah, not only do we have All In right around the corner, but we also have Payback and All Out back to back to back over Labor Day weekend. So, all that being said, Brian, you proposed the natural next question to me. Jeff, what show are you going to defend the title on? Because you got to defend it on one of them. All In, All Out, Payback. Which one's it going to be? And my response to you was all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
That's what I like to hear.
So
Fighting champion.
Just to make it clear, as long as I have to defend Big Gold over here, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to make it interesting. That means we've done twofers in the show before, where we get the combined totals of 2 shows over a specific weekend to defend a championship. This time, we're going to set new records. We're going to break new ground. I say the best combined score of all three shows. All In, All Out, and Payback. All of them. Whoever has the highest score at the end of all 3 shows, then and only then will you be deserving of the Scholars of Wrestling Championship. What say you?
Jeremy's got to do a lot of trash talking these next couple of weeks.
It's Jeremy. It's Scholar Jeremy always brings the heat. He always brings the trash talk. We know this. This is not news. But you know
And it's
what?
okay. It's okay because he can talk all the trash he wants. It's not gonna change the fact that I am going to be walking out or signing off as the Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion, as I should.
Oh, but you have quite the mountain to climb, sir. No one's going to have it easy. And if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory, or I'm going to retain this lovely, lovely championship. Either way,
Or Charlie
I'm
could cash in the beef case and just ruin it for everyone like he always does.
cool it. Don't give the man any ideas. But anyway, the gauntlet has officially been laid down. Prepare thyselves. But first, we have a little something to get past because we got to see how we got here to begin with. By taking a look at the show that was, we're going to be taking a look at WWE Summerslam 2023. And our first match on the card this time around was, I didn't expect this one to open the show, but it wasn't a bad start. We got Logan Paul defeating Ricochet via interference by, did we ever find out who that was?
Just someone from his posse. I don't care who it was. They just brought the brass Canucks to win this match. And as I kind of mentioned last week, it didn't do anything for either man. So other than just giving Logan Paul a long needed win. But
Yeah,
where do they both go from here?
Yeah, this was basically a showcase match, is what it was. Okay, it doesn't hurt Ricochet, but doesn't do anything for him either. And Logan Paul gets to actually be the dick character that he should have been the entire time he's been in there, because it's what he is in real life. So, so it's like he's been trying to play something other than himself the entire time he's been there, and it's nice to actually see him be himself in the ring, on the mic, and doing what he does. So I'm not gonna say it didn't do anything for Logan Paul, but it was a showcase match, and this is why it didn't really have a big impact on anything on the card. But I mean, it was good.
It was
It
good.
was good, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. So it works.
And not for nothing, I can't even, obviously the benefits to Logan Paul getting a victory here are a bit more apparent. I wouldn't even say that Ricochet didn't get anything out of this either. Because like I claimed before, my gut still says that Ricochet is one of those guys, much like Damian Priest after the Bad Bunny run, that this can be a sort of a jumping off point with a vote of confidence for Ricochet, saying, okay, you were a professional, you took care once again of the celebrity guest, you got a good match out of him, so you got a reward coming your way. Whatever that is, you're going to get some kickback. I'm
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
just
believe with as hard of the as hard as Ricochet has worked over the years, capping it off with this, he's got to have something coming his way, and we may not even see it for some time.
I hope that you're right, but this is also a different case from Bad Bunny because Logan Paul has been here for a bit and has had quite a few high profile matches. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. and the like, whereas Bad Bunny was basically against Damian Priest each time. It was teaming with Damian Priest and then was against Damian Priest during during his entire run. So like Damian Priest was taking care of that dude the entire time that that he was wrestling, which is why he's got the spot he does now. I think that it will keep Ricochet's stock higher than it was because let's face it, before this run, his stock was low. Okay. So now he'll have like a permanent place on the card, but I don't think he's going to go any higher up than he is right now. That's just my gut feeling because it's a different case.
Oh, you also just got to point out the fact that when it comes to Logan Paul, he is contracted under WWE, and Bad Bunny isn't. He's just there for those celebrity appearances. Logan Paul is actually someone who is currently working for WWE. So you could also add that factor in. Yes, he's still a celebrity. He's a social media character, but yeah, it's still the fact that he's not just here for specialty matches. He's there for actual storyline purposes. And the only thing now I can really see of Ricochet from now on is just more, he's probably be back to being fodder for people who are in storylines, and it'll probably continue being that way until Braun Strowman comes back and they just reform their tag team, which even Ricochet said that he actually is looking forward to when Braun returns.
And for his sake and everyone's sake, I hope that's pretty soon, because I remember that tag team being pretty decent, and it'll certainly give both guys something decent to do. But speaking of something decent to do, we got something decent coming up next, and that is finally the series between Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar has finally ended and resulted apparently in not just a Cody Rhodes victory, but also some major props from Brock Lesnar that seemed to go unscheduled or unwritten. What do you make of this?
That's just storyteller Triple H. To say, there's probably some aspects to that being true, but the one thing is they definitely probably had something planned for Brock and Cody after the match, and getting endorsed really by Brock Lesnar and getting the respect and the hug and the raising the hand, that's something you never see, like, ever. I don't think Jesus. I don't think Brock Lesnar has really shown that, at least the character of Brock Lesnar has never shown that form of respect. And really, it's actually filling into the Cody finish the storylines or finish the storyline. To where now I'm really actually like, okay, I'm really rooting for this now. He's basically took out Roman Reigns' biggest greatest rival, at least most known rival, since they wrestled 7 matches in the last couple of years. Yeah, it was a big deal, and actually this was a very good told story of Brock just beating the ever loving hell out of Cody the entire match, and he's just thinking, all right, I'm just going to end this one on a count out. And that just was failed over and over. Cody kept getting back up. He was basically being a John Cena-esque babyface, and it's one that the crowd is 150% behind compared to the sometimes 50-50, 40-60, 70-30 of the uncertainty of the crowd of John Cena. Cody is got the crowd in the palm of his hands, and yeah, keep it going. Well, keep it going, but now begs the question on where the
Not for
hell
too
does Cody
long.
go? Where the hell does
Yeah,
Cody go from here? They throw hints of possible involvement with Seth Rollins, but that gets completely thrown out the window with Shinsuke Nakamura getting involved. I don't think they'll go triple threat.
no. I I think that Cody Rhodes was just a device in that 6-man tag,
Oh yeah.
so that Shinsuke could make the heel turn for Seth, and they could go off and do their thing while Cody keeps preparing for Roman Reigns. But the deal, this was the first time since WrestleMania where I'm like, okay, I can see them. I can see them running it back next year, and I'm down with that. This was the first time, because this this match is what the first match should have been. This I don't think I'm still of the fact that I don't think that this story needed to be a storyline that ran from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. But if it was, they ended it off on a great note, because this was exactly how this should have been done the entire time. Okay, we still don't know why. We're never gonna know why Brock did what he did, but and wanted to do this in the first place. But if this was where this entire thing was leading to, then okay, kudos, hats off. This was great. And the show of respect at the end, yeah. Brock has given the head nod a few times. He's given the impressed face. Okay, but he's never fully like hugged a man and lifted his arm up. So it's like, okay, they're going in strong with this one. They're giving him his own documentary. They're having Brock Lesnar do this. Okay. But as Tarek said, okay, you need to keep up the momentum now, because you still got 6 months before we get to the part where he finishes the story. So it's like, yeah, it's SummerSlam, and you just beat Roman Reigns' greatest rival, and his greatest rival endorsed you. We still have 6 months. So what are you going to do in the meantime?
Frankly, this is going to sound very weird, but I honestly don't care too much. There's so many different guys that he can work with, and it will result in something decent. Not to mention the fact that Tark, like you were alluding to, this is this kind of booking is actually working for the first time in a very long time, through Cena, through Roman Reigns. I'm gonna dare say it, not since like the time of Stone Cold and The Rock, as the guy been portrayed in such a manner that people are naturally behind him. This is Cody. They got something special in Cody, and given the way everything is being handled right now, frankly, I don't really care very much what happens next for the next 6 months, as long as we get the inevitable conclusion that we all want. Until
I'm
then,
just yeah, I'm just saying that I understand your point, but for me specifically, okay, you can't go down from here. I'm like, you just beat Brock Lesnar. Okay, we need to stay on this level. Okay, I'm not okay with just him getting into a program with anybody at this point. I'm like, you need to stay on this level. You I as the AEW crowd says, iron sharpens iron, and it's like you need to stay on the level of the top people. Okay, if he was going into a story with Seth Rollins, I don't know how that would work with the but it's like you need to be on that level. You need to find somebody to feud with probably up until Royal Rumble time that will be on the same level and keep you where you are at so that so so that you're still on fever pitch when it's time for you to win the Rumble and get your second opportunity. Because it's like I don't want him to just finish the story. I want him to finish the story on the highest level possible. I want this dude to be up there with The Rock and Stone Cold as as one of the greatest to ever do it. Okay, and if you've got him facing people that aren't at the level of Brock Lesnar going into a match with Roman Reigns, I don't think that's gonna happen. So keep up the level of the competition that you've been dealing with since WrestleMania so that you are at the highest peak of your popularity. We thought you were at the highest peak of your popularity before last year's WrestleMania. Make it go even higher. That's what
Well,
I want to see.
well, I'll tell you what, speaking of going even higher and getting that attention and being so over, we finally got something that we were waiting for a while. We got LA Knight winning the Slim Jim Battle Royal in what was a surprisingly decent match, even though we knew who's going to win. I think it was the getting there, and sometimes wrestling is just plain simple. Sometimes you just give us what you want, and occasionally we do get something neat too with LA Knight in a Slim Jim ad, which credit where it's due, you called it, Tarek.
Who would have guessed that I said a simple joke last week that the winner of this match would just basically take the Macho Man Randy Savage spot for the Slim Jim commercials to a T. It's basically the sequel series for those commercials to the point you have the video clip of Randy Savage old Slim Jim commercials, and I'm just thinking, wow, Macho Man Randy Savage on WWE referenced on WWE television again. Holy shit, that's just so cool. And I'm just thinking, oh my god, did I call this? Oh,
Yep.
this is just so cool. I'm so happy about this. Oh yeah, Bianca Belair's there too. But oh my god, LA Knight is there.
Hey, it still counts. I'll tell. It
There's
still
they're
counts.
snapping, and the snapping is making explosions again. And it may have just been the mixture of calling it and just the nostalgia of it just pumping me up, and I'm just going, woo! Now I'm just in the mood for a Slim Jim. Eat me.
Yeah,
Indeed,
it's
I actually was too. I just didn't. I never haven't gotten around to it yet, but now I kind of want to give it a go.
yeah, it's like it's funny to me, but it was like I was more excited that he got the commercial than I was that he won the match. I,
Well, to be fair, the match was also a part of the commercial, so
yeah, and I wish they would have followed it up with something more meaningful than a match with Top Dollar, but
Gotta do
but
he had
something.
it. Hey, he had a
at
great
least they had him on the
promo battle with the Miz.
yeah yeah and that's gonna be I think that's gonna be an enjoyable little placeholder feud. They'll probably do that for about a month, but it's like that was it's nice to see the Miz get serious again. And for it to be against LA Knight, that should be that should be really good. I just need him to face better opponents than Top Dollar. I
Mm.
I I don't think LA Knight needs to do squash matches.
Yeah, this
He,
whole thing struck that whole match and anyway did strike me as being a little bit more leaning towards a placeholder match until they get a more substantial feud for LA Knight, which will come in time, no question.
Oh
oh
yeah.
no, man, that technically speaking, that was a feud because they had the Jesus, what are they called?
Oh yeah, Hit Row, yeah.
Hero, yeah.
I stand corrected. Shows how much I'm paying attention. My bad. Ugh. Uh-oh. Did we lose Scholar Tarek? Yeah, I think we may have lost Scholar Tarek. Oh, brother.
I wonder if he forgot to plug in the computer again.
Either that or he probably had some spotty internet connections, which I think we've both had that a history of that. But either way, until we managed to get Scholar Tarek back once more, we had a lot more to worry about or stress through,
Yeah,
survive, whatever.
let's talk about this woof of a match.
Yeah, this one, I'll be honest, I just totally lost focus on the Shayna Baszler defeating Ronda Rousey. Another match that really did not seem to be all that unpredictable. We kind of knew what was going to happen here, but the match itself, ooh, this
No,
one, this
it's
one did not deliver.
yeah. My issue with it is it's WWE style MMA rules. It's like they didn't know they made a gimmick and they didn't know how to, it it's a storyline throughout the night. They made a gimmick match and then didn't know how to pull it off.
Yeah,
so
this
it's
one
it's
didn't
like
hold up.
MMA rules. Just do it like a just just look at the rule book for UFC for Pride. Pick pick one and uh, and go from there. It's like there's rule books everywhere that you can make the rules of your MMA style match. You didn't do that, and what we got was a mess. And if this is it, and if this is going to be Ronda Rousey's last match under her contract or whatever, this was not a good way to go. It does the job of setting up Shayna Baszler to be a beast, but other than that, it this didn't make anybody look good.
Yeah, the most that I can hope for is that if Ronda is burned out and doesn't want to do it anymore, which I can't say I blame him for it if that's the case. But if this is the case, then thankfully we won't get more mediocre Ronda Rousey. If there's a chance we get like a really good feud with Ronda, then sign her back up again, no problem. But if this is all that we're going to get, could potentially just be for the best.
Yeah, that really took the level of the showdown for me at that point. It was like I was into it at that point, and then right here it was like, oh
Yeah,
man,
this
and it's like I'm
one,
trying not to
mm,
disrespect anybody here, but woof. No.
yeah, they can all be winners, but thankfully the next match did a lot to get at least my attention back. And that was Gunther defeating Drew McIntyre, as we all figured that he would. But again, we know where this is going. We hope we know where this is going. But for now, this is exactly what it ought to be. And these two big boys hit hard.
Oh yeah, this was exactly what we thought it was going to be. This was two big old boys just beating the crap out of each other. And at this point in time, The right man won because we're going for the record here. Gunther will break it. And then if everything goes correctly and everything goes well, he'll lose it to Chad Gable.
That is another one. I
But
admit, earlier tonight I was a little sleepy and was just like having some coffee before the show. I'm like, wait a minute, what's Gunther gonna do next? He's gotta have something on deck. Oh yeah, we got
yeah.
we got Gunther and Chad Gable coming up, and Chad Gable actually has some momentum to him. Like this could be something special
and
here.
and it's like because it's like before last month, okay, you would have been like, oh, this is a Gunther squash match. Gunther's got to murder Chad Gable because that's the way WWE was booking him. That's the way WWE was perceiving him. But now you're looking at it like, oh shit, Chad Gable's actually got a shot. and, and it's one of those things where it's like I've been hoping for Sheamus to take it for so long. I've been hoping that Drew McIntyre would be the one. This was just not the time for it. The only reason I didn't pick Drew McIntyre to win is because we're so close to Gunther taking the record. So this was the correct move in this instinct in this instance. But any other time, I would have picked Drew McIntyre because that's my guy right there. But now that you actually have the opportunity to actually do like an underdog story, like this is the ultimate underdog story. If Chad Gable's able to pull one over on Gunther, sign me up. That's it.
Oh, there's definitely gonna be some putting something over on people, and I could have sworn it was gonna be this one when Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor. I know I had my money the other way around, and I also had my money on that there was gonna be a cash in tonight, a little bit of cash in shenanigans, but lo and behold, we just got a plain old ho hum everyday Joe Bob match. Got a little bit of tension there. Not sure what Damian Priest was doing, but this was more or less a straight up match. We had Seth Rollins defending his title. Finn Balor gets miffed, and we got a little bit of tension between the Judgment Day. Not as crazy as I was expecting, but to be fair, I feel like I set the bar pretty darn high.
Yeah, it's as soon as Damian Priest came out, I went the other way around and was like, "Oh, they're gonna do the same thing as they're gonna do the same thing as last month. They're gonna do the same thing as the last title defense. Damian Priest is gonna come out. He's gonna accidentally distract Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins is gonna win, and I'm gonna lose the Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Championship because I thought they were gonna do, because I thought they liked good storytelling." I still think that the better move would have been to have Finn Balor win and be looking over his shoulder at his boy with the briefcase. But you know what we got here for my money was the match of the show. For my money, from bell to bell, this was the best match on the card, and I enjoyed every second of it. Even when Damian Priest came out, and my mind was like, "Well, I'm not the champion anymore because I know how this is gonna go."
But
No,
lo and behold, there was no cash in yet. But on the bright side, I believe we have Scholar Tarek back. Scholar Tarek, are you there?
I am here and I have to call in through my cell phone because out of the goddamn blue, my laptop decided to shut down and update itself. It's currently working on it right now. Look at that piece of shit computer that decides to just turn itself off mid episode and be like, "You're recording? Well, not anymore." Okay.
Sucker.
So what did I miss?
You missed
We
the Wolf match of the night. You missed Ronda versus Shayna. And we talked about the 3 matches: Ronda, Shayna, Gunther, McIntyre, and we're on Seth Rollins, Finn Balor.
Okay, quick rundown. Shayna and Ronda, obviously the lowest part of the whole show, because you cannot do a stage MMA fight, and that's what they tried to do. They tried to tell their own story. Some shots look great. I mean, that one kick that Ronda did to
No,
Shayna.
Shayna did them. Yeah.
Shayna did other way around. God damn. But Shayna was the right person winning, and now she's being thrown into a program alongside Becky Lynch. That's a good step in the right direction for her. Gunther and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. What a great match. It's not his best title defense, but Drew, who is an established star, established world champion, and putting over Gunther like that was just the absolute right call. Gunther just doesn't lose. He just doesn't cheat to win. He always successfully defends his title clean and keep going to the Honky Tonk Man record. But as for Drew, he is actually my choice for to be Cody's next challenger for just his next storyline to build for his ending of the story. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. And the World Heavyweight Championship match, this was my match of the night. I heard Brian said this was your match of the night. This is my match of the night as well. This was just great wrestling and just great storytelling. And man, the only heartbreak of this is just Finn Balor cannot catch a goddamn break. He is really slowly becoming Pin Balor. That name is now really coming into full effect. Even with the group is at its at its highest it can be right now, and still he can't win a championship. Oh, it's heartbreaking. But I'm looking forward to where this is going to go when it counts to now that Vince seems to be away healing. It keeps him away from creative, and Triple H can actually bring in JD McDonough in to actually be involved with the story as he's been trying to do for months. It looks like we're just probably going into possible Judgment Day Civil War. The question is like, where are we gonna go from here? But yeah, it's the most intriguing storyline right now when it comes to Raw currently. So I was very impressed with this match and sad about the result, just because it's not because I got the prediction wrong. It's just, God, I just want to see Finn get a chance as a world champion, man. He has the right to, not just NXT champ, like a world champ on the main roster.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's definitely a lot of potential with Finn Balor and the rest of the Judgment Day and everything else right on the horizon. But ultimately, that you were half right in the sense that Brian said that this was his match of the night. We haven't gotten to my match of the night yet. Because first, we had to get through Bianca Belair eventually defeating Charlotte Flair and Asuka to get her world championship back. And then it was after that, in the immediate aftermath, that we got my match of the night. Didn't last long, but we finally got our long awaited cash in that I correctly predicted, by the way. And we got, for the first time, Io Sky becoming WWE Women's Champion. And oh, what a wonderful day it was. A new, interesting, fascinating champion that we can all get behind. And with just the smallest hint of fringe benefits for the little people in her wake. Godspeed, Io Sky. I will now allow you to give your thoughts on this match.
I was gonna ask, are you talking about Io Sky or yourself, fool?
Yes. The answer is yes. Continue.
Well, the actual triple threat match, just everything about it to me, like everything after the world heavyweight title match for me just felt a little bit off. Like Charlotte Flair was not on top of her game in that match. She was botching a lot. And it was just like everything about it was just kind of off. And then of course Bianca Belair turns into an actress and makes me believe she's actually hurt. And then I actually sit and think about it. And I'm like, oh, this is where they're going. Because as soon as she was able to get back and hobble away to the ring, I'm like, Bianca Belair is winning. Io Sky's coming out, cashing in because Bianca Belair's hurt. We've seen this story before. We've done this before. Congratulations, Jeff, you're the new champion. But we've been here before. I've seen it. It's a great story. I love that Io Sky is the champion because she deserves it more than almost anybody else on that female roster at this point. And I hope that they actually give her the title run that she deserves instead of the normal Money in the Bank championship runs that we normally get out of these people. But it's like everything about the triple threat match itself just kind of felt a smidge off to me.
Yeah, in all seriousness, yeah, these series of matches were lacking something. And I feel like this was one of those instances where they relied a little much on the Money in the Bank cash in to bring a satisfying conclusion to all this, which is fine. But after the matches we saw previously, it was, in my opinion, it just seemed a little bit more noticeable than in years past, if that makes sense.
I actually do agree. The one thing I noticed with Charlotte is that did she lose like some of her muscle? Because I definitely noticed that she is a lot more thinner than I normally would notice. Before she was like build pure muscle. Now it's just more. It's just the muscle is now more gone, and she's definitely more thin.
You're not wrong. I did notice the same thing too, but again, I don't know much about that, so I can just speculate the same as anybody else, but I'm not going to do that.
And it also just looks like a big factor that just kept throwing everyone off in the match was just Charlotte's wardrobe, that it just kept malfunctioning. There was even one point where she has Bianca and Asuka sitting on the corner while she's like, "Oh crap! Hey ref, can you just fix this so it doesn't come off?" And you just have Charlotte and Asuka there looking. Should we just stay here in the corner? What do we do? it just kept, there were just small situations that just kept throwing everyone off to the point where the match did lose the crowd. And that's one big factor on the show that definitely made the show very different than the last few pay-per-views that have just been like real, like memorable, like amazing shows. And that's just the audience participation. And like you have Backlash in uh Puerto Rico. You have all these wrestling WWE shows in outside the country shows, and the crowds who are normally, or who are just so full of energy, and then you have a WWE show back in the States in Detroit, and you just be like, "Yep, back to your typical casual WWE audience." There, like in some spots you see they're really invested, and then there are other spots where they just are just sitting and watching the show happen, not really responding to what's going on until the big moments like the EO Sky cash in.
Yeah, sometimes it works. Sometimes just plain isn't the best. But hey, I got what I wanted. I got what I wanted out of it. So who cares? Moving on. Which of course brings us to the final match on the card. Roman Reigns defeated Jey Uso just like we kind of figured he would. But I'm not sure how many of us called Jimmy Uso interfering on Roman's behalf to do so. And we got on SmackDown just tonight, as of the day we're recording this, that Jimmy supposedly did it because he didn't want Jey to become head of the table and have the power go to his head and become just like another Roman. What do you think of the match, and what do you think of the story to go with it?
Once again, this just this is the first time in 3 years that the storyline and the match that was involved in the storyline, it just fell flat for me. And it was another one of these things where they made a gimmick for the match and didn't know how to implement it and how to execute it. There was a lot of standing around that, and what made the standing around an issue was during their matches during the pandemic. Okay, they were also doing a lot of standing around and not hitting each other and doing all that. But you also had Roman taunting, and we could hear him, and that played up the storyline parts of those matches. You didn't have that in this one. It's just them standing around and feeling each other out. We've seen this in multiple matches with you three, with you two. Even though they were 3 years ago, okay, we've been through this song and dance before. I don't think you need to feel each other out anymore, especially for long periods of time in this match. There were like multiple parts of like at least a minute where they're not doing anything, which which is like it's the main event. It's once again a match that felt off. Okay, and to the point where the finish of the match fell flat. Okay, it's one of those things where it's like I know the brothers want to work a one-on-one match. I know they want to work a one-on-one feud. They've said it in interviews in the past. But it's like, especially with the explanation tonight, at the time of this recording, where he says he didn't want Jey to turn into Roman, and then Jey took out Roman and Jimmy, and said he was leaving, which means they're stretching this whole Jay and Jimmy out until WrestleMania, which is too long for me in this
which is
case.
why I'm thinking it's not necessarily going to be a WrestleMania.
I'm
Survivor
hoping
Series, maybe.
I'm I'm hoping that it's not, but the way that they actually basically wrote Jay off of TV for a little while, I wouldn't be surprised. But it's just this whole thing, this whole SummerSlam match, the aftermath, it everything about it has fallen flat for me. This is the first time since it started that I'm like, this part of the Bloodline storyline doesn't work for me. Sorry about it.
Hey, they've been batting 1,000 for so long, and they can't all be winners. What are you gonna do?
To me, when it comes to the Usos storyline and the Bloodline, it really did peak with the Bloodline Civil War tag team match. Adding the championship match was just, in a way, it does go full circle on this storyline that's been building for all these years, but now it's just reached that point where you are kind of losing me. It's kind of just reaching that point where the Bloodline storyline. I'm like, okay, I'm done with Roman as being champion. I'm done. I'm just now reached my point where I'm kind of done. Just I'm not that invested in the Usos anymore because now they're just doing a match that they've wanted to do for years. Uh, I'm kind of relieved that it's not just, oh, Jimmy turns on his brother and just realigns himself back with Roman, because continuity can just get thrown out the goddamn window. Uh, it's now reached that point where you're taking time to really stretch this story. I mean, where Jey Uso just says, "I'm done with WWE. I'm done with SmackDown. I'm done with the Bloodline." What does that mean? Is he going to be on a hiatus? Is he? Are we pausing the Bloodline storyline just so we can get closer to possible Survivor Series, Royal, like pretty much reaching that now final stretch to the WrestleMania season?
Watch him show up
Because
in NXT. Just watch.
I doubt it.
I doubt it
I
too.
doubt
Yeah,
it too, but what's the alternative? Stranger things have happened.
I at this
I'd
point,
laugh
I
if
don't
he
even know
shows up on
anymore.
Raw.
That also seems like a possibility. I mean,
So they just pull Ray and Dominic, like, oh, I don't want to work with you. I'll just go to another show. Okay.
It's WWE.
Uh,
That's why it's like we've gone too far when this is what when this is what we're coming up with. Not every idea is a good idea, even if it's given to you by Roman. This whole thing, this whole bottom of the third thing that they keep saying about the storyline, no, it should be the seventh inning stretch. Okay, none of this bottom of the third shit. It's played out at this point. Sorry.
all that being said, with all those matches in the books, what would you say is going to be your final beard rating for SummerSlam 2023?
actually, I want to hear the champs rating first on this one, and don't be biased because this is the event that you won, giving it a goat face.
That is fair. That is fair. And in all seriousness, I cannot, in good conscience, give this a goat face. There are way too many glaring flaws to this show. But on the other hand, yeah, I did win it. But in all seriousness, what was good on the show tended to be very, very damn good. We got Gunther versus Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, the sort of surprise of Io Sky's cash in, which everyone wanted to see. And then we got LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Brock, even Logan Paul Ricochet. I felt was a pretty darn good strong opener. So with that being said, it may not be a goat face, but it is a 4 out of 5, a full beard, easy on my charts. I'm going full beard. What would you think, Tarek?
Uh this is definitely when it comes to WWE pay-per-views or premium live events.
Premium
This
lime
is
events. I
definitely
like those.
premium live events, yeah. This is definitely on the weaker side. Uh and it's just stems for two lackluster women programs, uh a very very lackluster ending to the show in general, and audience participation really did hurt it for me, because compared to just the last shows and just the crowd, other than just taking breathers because they've been so involved with the show the entire program, like the past crowds don't never really lost the momentum. This crowd had sprinkles of momentum, and it just never stayed through, so it just kept taking me out of certain aspects of the show. With that being said, it was, yeah, the good outweighs the bad in many ways. We had the world title match, the Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, and the IC title matches, the order of my top three. And then I'll even add the Battle Royal as number 4, Logan Paul and Ricochet afterwards. Very, very strong positives. So I'm also going to go full beard, but just like right there, right, simple full beard.
And Brian, how would you call this one?
See, this is the first, because WWE has been on such a run. They have not had a bad show this year. I don't think I've given anything lower than a full beard this year. But for me, even though the positives were very good, okay, the disappointments were big disappointments. So it's like I can't just I'm not the guy who's going to overlook and give, and I don't think that the positives of the show were enough to outweigh the disappointments, because the disappointments were so big. I wasn't expecting much out of the Ronda versus Shayna match. Okay, I don't think anybody was. So that, but the actual content of the two uh basically main events. Okay, yeah, you got the good story at the end of the women's match with the Io Sky stuff, but the build up to that was very disappointing. The the main event was the first match of that storyline to fall completely flat. That match did not work in the slightest for me. Um, I'm not gonna say that it's on the low end of a classic OT, but I will go classic OT for this show. This is the first show that actually disappointed me this year. And that's something that I, based off of recent years and recent WWE history, I'm happy that they lasted on a streak until actually August this year. But this is the first show that actually disappointed me. Not enough to actually give it a bad score, but it was a show that for me was just okay to good.
All right, that all works. So on that happy note, now that we've got our ratings and reviews on SummerSlam 2023, now's the time of our show where we pitch it over to you, our fellow fans. What did you think of SummerSlam? Are you happy with this new crop of champions that we got cooking? Whatever you think, let us know all across the internet. YouTube comments, Facebook posts, and our personal Twitter favorite, the Twitter machines. We do it all. So if you want to join the conversation, Tarek, where can they reach you?
You can reach me now annoyed because I just noticed the laptop just finished updating at
Better late
the
than ever.
avatar. Jesus Christ. Oh, damn
Gotta
laptop.
love it. Brian, where can they reach you?
You can reach me trying to yell at Damian Priest to go away as he's walking down the ramp at Atomic Beanpole.
And you can find me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the champ in the conversation, and for all these relevant social links and more, just check out our link tree in the description below. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling. And that the champ is finally out. I'm going to enjoy a nice little break, enjoy the rest of my birthday week, and I'm going to see you all again next time, because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all next time for more admiration of the champ.